Well, this is a moment where we have breaking news all over the place. We have breaking news on UFC 294. We have breaking news on USADA and on Conor and USADA, Dana and USADA. And, I just feel like we're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk about Volkanovski coming in where Islam. We're talking about Kamaru Usman coming in against Khamzat. And we're going to start with this USADA story because I think it's pretty notable when you consider the following. USADA to end partnership with UFC in 2024 after Conor McGregor officially re-enters the testing pool. It's weird that they would put those two things in the same story. It's like, all right, so Conor's coming back. Also just in a totally unrelated story, UFC and USADA are done. They're done. So I wonder if they're connected. So we're going to talk about that, what really happened there, and that's what we're going to do. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, why don't you go ahead and do that? You can subscribe to the channel right now. You also can go check out sheathunderwear.com, buy a pair of Sheath underwear, email me the receipt at realjesseonfire@gmail, and you will be entered to win a pair of Jordans like Aaron Johnson did last week and like someone is going to this week. Check that out. Sheathunderwear.com, best underwear on earth. Join the team. Buy anything using promo code FIRE. Send the receipt to realjesseonfire@gmail, and you will get entered to win. All right, so let's start here. All right, so like I said, seems just a little bit notable. USADA to end partnership with the UFC in 2024 after Conor McGregor officially re-enters the testing pool. So let's go back and play this out like some people who have paid attention to history. Conor wanted to fight in 2023, I believe in June, if I'm remembering. Went on Ariel's show. Ariel said, "What's up with USADA?" Conor made some comments about what it was going to take for him to get in and alluded to like 2 clean tests, something like that. Sounded like something had been pre-negotiated, you know what I mean? And he was looking off screen to someone who clearly had spearheaded those conversations with the UFC. Could be, Audi. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know who it was. I have had no conversations. I'm just hypothesizing. But then ultimately, Ariel took that off of what was on his show later. They edited it out, okay? So clearly something was said that someone didn't want public, UFC most likely, because it seems like UFC had probably negotiated something with USADA about Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor should not be open to the same, or, subject to the exact same things as everyone else, especially when USADA is requiring stupid stuff like 6 months in the testing pool. It's kind of dumb. Now, the reason why this should not apply to Conor McGregor is because this is a business. Okay? No one's saying that Conor should be able to fight on juice and no one else should. But if what we're saying is like, hey, we're building this enormous event around Conor McGregor and Chandler, we can't require him to be in for 6 months. The guy is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, he's in this different category. I realize, we got to keep the sport clean and derba. It's like, dude, this is a fight that has no title implications immediately. Right? At least right now. I'm going to make a bunch of points that people are going to be able to argue with me on. Just forget I even said that Conor shouldn't be in it. Let's just talk about what Dana thinks. Because Dana wants Conor to fight because when Conor fights, they do the biggest numbers ever. Okay? So USADA gets into it with Dana. They go back and forth. USADA puts out this open letter that's all, it is our position that Conor McGregor must be in the testing pool for 6 months. The reason that it took this long for Conor to re-enter the testing pool is because I guarantee that they were going back and forth with USADA trying to figure out, whether or not they were going to require this whole thing. And again, I'm hypothesizing, but the fact that Conor re-enters the testing pool right now, and then we immediately announce that UFC is ending their contract with USADA seems extraordinarily likely that it is connected to USADA being unwilling to bend the rules for Conor like UFC probably wanted them to, So that is my hypothesis. I have absolutely no idea if that's true or not, but what I am going to talk about is another thing that is related to this going forward. Then we're going to talk about UFC 294. So the USADA requirements as it relates to UFC are killing tons of great fights. Bottom line. Okay? Now, you could say it should be this fair, that fair, whatever. Rogan has started talking about this, that people should be able to test their levels, supplement hormones and peptides, etc., so that they can recover as best they can and they can perform at an optimal level. Everyone is talking about this being cheating when maybe not so much. Now, this is obviously coming from someone who does TRT and replaces his own hormones and does a bunch of other stuff. And so do I. I'm with him. And I'll tell you exactly why. Because if you want to see the absolute best fighters in the world, like you want to see the top level that anyone is capable of, you can't do it without this. Here's why. Because when guys get to a level where their skill set is as developed as it possibly can be, that's when their body starts breaking down. Okay? What this does is it lets people operate at body like their body is 26 when they're 37. Okay? That's how you get now, I'm not saying we need to do TRT VTOR. I'm not saying that it should be like just unlimited and you can have your testosterone at 2,500 or something like that. But giving fighters things that help them recover to where they can train every day, to where they can recover, and they can continue to fight into their 30s and late 40s. I mean, dude, Randy Couture won the title when he was 48. And that was awesome. And you want to know what else is happening to the UFC right now? They're losing fights because guys get injured and they don't have replacements. And they don't have as many stars because stars are aging out. This is a business decision. As much as it's probably behind the scenes, Conor, USADA, whatever. By the way, I'm rushing through this. I'm real, like, as I'm saying this, I'm saying a bunch of things that I'm not even sure if I necessarily agree with. You know, like, these are unnuanced thoughts. I literally just sat down and I'm doing this video because I need to go to jiu-jitsu in about 25 minutes and I want to make sure that I get this up first. But, you know, what do I say? Normally, you can kind of hold me pretty hard to the things I say on the channel. Right now, I'm just kind of talking, you know. It's very possible I'm going to come back and be all, I don't know if I made the right call right there. But as it relates to the UFC right now, do we seem to have a lack of star power versus other times? To me, it seems very obvious that we do, right? Will we have a huge increase in star power if they take away USADA and start letting people, you know, like maybe go back to the rules in 2014? Yes, 100%. Absolutely 100%. There will be a huge increase in star power. There just will be, because people will be able to fight longer. Right now, people become stars and then they age out. People become stars and then they age out. People become stars and they age out. Let's keep them around longer, man. I want to see Anderson in his prime against Izzy in his prime. I mean, we're not going to get that now, but like if Anderson was allowed to supplement testosterone and a bunch of other stuff, when they fought, they both would have been at their best. You know? Now, obviously, I have different considerations of guys who are fighting in the organization. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fighters that are going to be all, bro, are you fucking serious? No. Cool. I understand. I am speaking from the perspective of a fan, not as a combatant. You know? So I am open to, you know, feedback from fighters that are like, shut up, Jesse on Fire. This is a stupid take. Cool. As a fan, juice them up, dude. Juice them up. Anyway, so that's what it is. Now let's talk about UFC 294. So, first story we got was that, oh my God, Charles might be out. And anybody who might have known what was coming, I reached out. Like, I got rumors on all these things early and I could not get responses from anyone. And that usually means that they're like actually working on things actively. And so before I could even get a scoop, the whole story would break. But I heard that Charles might have been hurt. And then it was like, and bing, bang, boom, he's out, Volk's in. No one believed it. Look at this. Last night, okay? Like when that story first broke, right? When that story first broke, that like, who did I hit? Wait, hang on, sorry. Boom. I hit up Chael and Bisping. And like, this is us, dude. It was like, can't be real. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, is this real? And like, no one had any, it was like, there's no way that this is real. That Volkanovski's in and Charles is out. Like, no one believed it. And then boom, it was real. It was real. And that's a day after they said Gamrot was the backup. Think about that, dude. Gamrot is not happy about that, dude. And it was also the day after that Volkanovski got scheduled to fight Ilia Topuria, which is interesting, kind of. But I'm very curious. Are you guys more excited for Volkanovski or Charles? Everybody's saying they're more excited for Volkanovski. I don't agree. I was more excited for Charles. I'm very excited for Volkanovski to fight Islam, but I want to see them at the end of a training camp that they were both prepping for. They're the two number one guys in the world. Also, Charles looks so good, dude. I want to see him fight against Islam again. I really want to see that fight. But the second fight, the other fight, Khamzat against Usman, that's different. I am way more excited about this fight. Way more excited. Way more excited. There's nothing even to break down about Volkanovski and Islam. We've already seen that fight. It was very, very close, and it's very, very exciting that they get to run it back. I can't wait to watch that. There's nothing to say, though. Kamaru against Khamzat, that's different, dude. There's a lot to talk about here. So I've heard a bunch of people comparing this. I mean, look, like this story just came out. But I have already heard a bunch of people comparing this fight to Khamzat versus Burns. And they're like, they're talking about Kamaru striking versus Khamzat striking versus Burns' striking, etc. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if those two, I don't know if that applies, dude. And I'll tell you exactly why. Because Burns, the reason that fight, which is the only fight that Khamzat has ever had that stayed on the feet, the only reason that happened is because Burns threatened him off of his back. That's what happened. I was there. Again, that doesn't mean that I saw the fight any better than anyone else. Matter of fact, I probably saw it worse than everybody else. But that is what happened. Khamzat took Burns down. Now, Burns had an incredible takedown defense, and so did Khamzat. But bottom line is, Khamzat got Burns down. Burns threatened an armbar. And Khamzat was like, oh, wow, this is dangerous with him. He felt danger. He pulled his arm out and escaped, but like he felt danger. And then they ended up standing up. Okay, can Kamaru Usman provide the same amount of danger off of his back that Gilbert Burns can? Absolutely not. But he's a better wrestler. He's a better wrestler. Do you want to see the guy with the best takedown defense in the history of the UFC against Khamzat Chimaev? I do. Now, candidly, what I was most excited for was the prospect of Bo Nickel against Khamzat. If they would have put Bo Nickel in, like literally, I can't even explain. I would have, which is insane to say, but I am saying it. I would have been more excited for Bo Nickel versus Khamzat than I am for Kamaru versus Khamzat. But Kamaru, that's great, dude. I am so excited, dude. I am so excited, dude. And I think these guys got. Oh no, we're good. Yeah, I mean, listen, dude. Do I think this fight ends up on the feet? No. I think Khamzat is going to probably be successful getting it to the ground. But maybe Kamaru will, dude. Who knows? Like, listen. Wrestlers are not good off of their back, generally speaking. Usman has a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but there are a lot of guys with black belts in jiu-jitsu. A black belt is not a black belt, is not a black belt. You know what I mean? Khamzat, I don't even know what his jits is. When he talked about what Burns did, it doesn't sound like he's a big jits guy. He said something like, he tried to do like an armbar or something. Like he literally said it as if jiu-jitsu was this like, oh, it's not a thing that I deal with. Which is not surprising because do you know how good your jiu-jitsu probably needs to be in order to deal with Khamzat? Kevin Holland is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. How'd that go for him? Curled up Darce choke. Night, night. You know what I mean? Now, his jiu-jitsu is not translated well against wrestlers. But again, dude, this fight is fascinating. I can't wait. I have no idea. I have no idea who's going to win that fight. I think I'm leaning towards Khamzat, certainly because he was more like prepared to fight on this date, and Khamzat is an animal, and every single thing that I've seen from Khamzat leading up to this fight has been scary. Remember the promo that he cut? Where he was talking about Costa, he looked like he was like, feed me this dinner. Costa looks like dinner. I'm going to eat him. Amazing. But here's the thing, too. People who are breaking Costa's balls, he already released why this is happening. He had surgery. First of all, what was he doing? Why is he having surgery on his elbow 3 weeks before the fight? Like, if he knew he was going to have surgery on his elbow, why didn't he pull out of the fight then? Like that, I don't understand. I respect the fact that he wanted to fight. He's a tough-ass dude, but if you knew you were going to have surgery, which I guess ultimately would have been 4 weeks before the fight, if you knew you were going to have surgery 4 weeks before the fight, then why did you stay in this long until it became crystal clear that you weren't going to be able to fight 1 week before? I don't understand. That's weird. Also, I am going live for the I'm going live for the Logan Paul and Dylan Dennis fight at 1 p.m. Central on Saturday, and you better be here to watch that. I'm going live with Mike Malchik. Just kidding. But he did call me out on the No Jumper podcast, and I just did a video about it. You guys should check that out after this. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. I love you guys. I'm going to jiu-jitsu. Peace in the Middle East. But look at that, dude. I always say peace in the Middle East, but this actually applies now. Peace in the Middle East. Hey, guys, Let's not kill women and children, you know? Let's all just not kill women and children. Hamas, you know? Israel, if you can. I mean, much tougher situation for Israel since, you know, they're all in buildings with women and children. Tough situation. Peace in the Middle East. Literally, I didn't even mean to talk about that. It just came out of my mouth, and now I'm trapped talking about it. I'm going to edit this out. I love you guys. Bye-bye.